All right, we are back, and we have a very special guest today. This is Chris Van Dyck, who runs his own VFX company now. It's CVD VFX, yes?
Yeah, that's right.
It's for your name,
Yeah.
but it also stands for something else, right?
Yeah, no, it's true. It definitely grew beyond me just as an artist with a few other talented people. And so we actually pulled that out to clients and staff and friends and family. And we tried coming up with new initials for the company name.
Yeah.
We had like really funny ones where people would be like, clients would be emailing and go, hey, Crazy Vocal Dolphins, or they would just come up with any other acronym they can come up with. But we stuck with Connect, Visualize, Deliver.
Nice.
So it's like putting some process to the initials.
Very, very good.
The spin. So
It's been a few years since we've had Chris on EP Live.
Yeah.
We used to do EP Live in our old studio setup. Now we do it in a cafe at Vancouver
that's
Film
nice,
School.
yeah.
It's pretty crazy, right?
Yeah, it's
but a lot has changed. You came from working with different studios and working on projects like Game of Thrones and what other movies and TV shows were you working on back then?
When we spoke last, I think I was just kind of wrapping up The Hobbit.
The Hobbit.
Yeah, so
Crazy.
I was working on The Hobbit or Tron, Harry Potter.
Few things.
Yeah, and that was like the nature of my career, was chasing whatever the biggest projects were, so to speak, for for caliber, because that's where the most time is allowed, and that's where the best things happen, right? So I always chase that, and so.
And I guess the good work and the big work leads to more big work and
exactly
a little bit more stability,
yeah.
which is what everybody wants in the
totally.
media creation world.
But then when you want to be a part of something great, it requires sacrifice. So I think that's where that was kind of maybe the problem. I know that's not maybe what we're set up to talk about, but I think that's what really inspired me actually to start my own thing, was just saying like, hey, you know what, I'm just gonna try and manage my own hours.
Yeah.
So
I wanted to talk about both because
cool.
I definitely want to talk about some of the work that you've been doing recently, specifically Stranger Things 3. But I also, as a business owner, I know that it's like running two different things. You've got a product to ship and people to make happy, but you also have staff and payroll and managing the sort of core business stuff, and that's something had you ever done that before?
I did actually I had a brief stint with a friend. We tried a company out, and we were kind of focused on lifestyle, and it was fun, and I learned a lot. But when it's actually it was having children that really inspired me to do it again, because it was the same thing where I didn't know if I was coming home for dinner or not, because I'm making it sound dire, but it just, you're working on big shows and the sound of, hey, working on the next big X, Y, Z movie just really didn't fit for my life anymore. And so I think that's kind of what really pushed me to go out there. But then, it's true. We'll round up and say 35 staff now.
Wow.
And it's a lot in 4 years.
That's a lot of people to take care of.
Yeah. So,
and I guess the motto now is you're trying to be as proactive with people's time and sort of recognize that work-life balance based on some of the experiences that you've had in that way. And trust me, this is a big thing in the video game industry. It's a big thing in every creative industry. Let's be straight up about that.
No, totally.
Yeah.
Well, my tagline is quality of life, quality work.
Yep.
Or maybe another way around, but we kind of changed it a few times. So once it was like, it was quality of work, quality of life. Mm-hmm. And then we kind of evolved it to say quality of work earns quality of life, because I think once you do that quality work, then you get people's respect, and with quality comes integrity and respect, and then so that's when you can hopefully say to somebody, hey, that request you just asked of us, you may not realize that, but that actually puts us into overtime, or that's a team on the weekend then.
Right.
And so respectfully we can say, hey, is there another version of what you just asked for?
Right.
Or could we work with you on providing you this, and then we get back this to you on Monday, Tuesday.
Right.
And hopefully in a lot of those instances we can come up with a more creative solution that just works for everybody. And then obviously some you can't. We have to this has to go today.
Yes.
We're hitting it today, no matter what, we got it. But
So
hopefully the quality of work we do and the quality of projects that we work on, there's just that respect everywhere, and then that allows for the quality of life.
That's fantastic.
That's what we
Chris.
try. And
that's awesome, man.
Thank you. Yeah.
And how is it being received by the people that would contract your company? Like, is Hollywood being receptive to this kind of new thing? Because, you know, let's face it, every product out there, every show, every movie is loaded with visual effects.
Oh,
and
yeah.
so much that we don't even know that they are visual effects now. So visual effects has never been more integral to...
Yeah. Well, I'll be honest. I don't know if we can do that at scale.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true. And so
Right,
maybe that's
okay.
where we stay as like a niche, like boutique where we're going to knock this out of the park for you, and we're not, you know, trying to wear all the hats. But I guess the point is that
that's the goal.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
I guess it could be the goal, but it is kind of challenging to say, hey, that's just how we operate. And I think where it's working for us though is that we, not to diminish our efforts or our team or anything, but we're a small piece of the puzzle, right? So like, let's use Lemony Snicket's that I see us playing on there right now.
Yeah.
It's you know, that show per season would be over 3,000 shots. So we would do our 300. That's like 10% of the show.
Right.
So we're not like a major first call from the client kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I think we've been learning that as shows are getting more demanding, then maybe that's where we say, you know what, this one has to have a better balance. Or so it's just trying to look at each project differently.
It has to be kind of the natural evolution of the medium as well. I mean, there's got to be maturity around all this. You see behind the scenes on anything now, and there's like 10% of a set being built now.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, it has to be getting better. Yes.
Yeah. Well, I think the work looks great. Like our work from Stranger Things. Like I think what our company does really well is like hard surface, live action, kind of based 3D and environment work. So that was almost all of our work in Stranger Things. So I won't say anything that's potentially spoiler, but like there's this one room that they end up in, which is like they're farming this promethium, and they built out, like you said, 10% of the set, and then we built it out, and maybe like initially it was going to be a certain size, and then we pared it back to be this, and we're kind of helping them explore the set and building it out. And same with the elevator sequences, you know, they're building you know, a small platform, and then we build the rest. So it's kind of it's cool. I like that kind of stuff.
Is that how you are making a name for yourself as a studio? Is doing a lot of is it digital compositing and
or just like, you know, live action based extension work, and that could be 3D or matte painting. But yeah, it is kind of our bread and butter right now. Like
that's awesome.
We're building out quite a lot of assets and environments for different shows.
How did the Stranger Things deal come together? Is that something where you have a relationship with Netflix because you worked on Lemony Snicket and they suggested you guys, or did you know the producers? Or
yeah, it's funny you ask that, because that one actually is like a really, really long and complicated story. But
it's just like the show.
Yeah, well, let's just say people come and go on shows, and I happen to work with someone that was working on it at one point, and they kind of brought us in for an initial interview, and we were beyond excited, right? It's a show I love, and I love, on a side tangent, I love the fact that we can have 8-hour movies now.
Yeah. Like,
if you want, you can sit down and in a linear timeline, sit down and watch Stranger Things unfold for 8 hours,
totally
7 hours.
Felt like a movie, didn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, and so that's what I've done each season. I do it in one sitting.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Wow.
Like, sit down at 7 and I go to bed at 4 or whatever it is.
It's Father of the Year award is in the mail right now.
It's so no, but so I was really passionate about the show, and you hit it there. We had a good relationship with Netflix, and so then it was just kind of like respectfully hounding and saying, "Hey,
we like Stranger Things.
How can how can we help? How can we, how can we jump in?" And I think that's where, like, as a small kind of focused company, we've been able to add value because we're hitting the quality mark and hopefully finding savings for them, and and then they're getting a team that's like really excited about like a niche aspect of the show.
Yes,
and they can hopefully let us just pour the passion into it. And
do you ever hear back from actors that were on the set that day and they didn't get any of their background, and then you made their background? And what a mind trip it must be for these guys, right?
Yeah, no, totally. I think I haven't had too many of those instances. Definitely with like more on the post side.
Yeah.
Lots of like cool accolade there, but yeah, no, I haven't had too much interaction with the actors and stuff like that. But I actually did go to the Chucky. We worked on Chucky, the new Chucky movie. And
oh, cool.
So I actually met a couple of the actors from that and got to like shake their hand, and it was kind of cool. You know, you see them and you expect them to be all 20 feet tall. They look larger than life on TV, and then you meet them and you're like, oh wow,
they're
that's
just
so great.
people.
Yeah, just people. Yeah.
And you know, I can see it because we interview actors and stuff all the time. That there is this real appreciation for how good companies like yours make these people look, you know. And are you feeling like there is like, tell us a little bit of some of the stuff that has been just blowing you away in visual effects over the last few years? What has visual effects really been nailing that you guys might have thought was an impossibility? If you like de-aging, is that something that
yeah, no, that's a good question. I mean, it's funny, it's not, hopefully not negative, but I almost feel like what's happening is, this is kind of a different spin, there's a decline in specialty almost, like before it was maybe easier before, I don't know, like 5 to 10 years ago, you could say, oh, this studio is the best at this. This studio does that. You can't get that work done unless you go to this place.
Wow.
And so with the demand out there now, it's like, and I don't consider myself or, you know, on this global platform, but like now you have all these like, you know, several thousand person companies that are all doing that work amazingly. So to answer your question, I'm just blown away with how great everything is. Like, and you go to the VES, the Visual Effects Awards down in LA, and it's like everything's just like mind-blowingly good, and it's so that I think that's where I'm most impressed, is that everything is good. It's not like, oh good, this one vendor came in to do this one gag, and then we've got this kind of C-level work throughout. It's like everything's there, and so that's kind of, and I think I think the obvious answer is like looking at Game of Thrones and just being like, look how amazing that.
True.
And you've got companies where, like, not to point fingers at studios, but like who was involved in the first few seasons, and then it's like you've got Weta coming in and just working on, like, so you've got these people who are traditionally been reserved for like the hugest tentpole films in the world, now doing episodic work and bringing that level up. So
I was just talking about that in the news, how Marvel's next foray is all really about the Disney Plus stuff, and that line is totally gone. I mean, Netflix is kind of suggesting that as well with the stuff that they're doing.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean, you worked on the Chris Hemsworth action flick as well. There,
12 Strong.
Yeah. What did you have to do in that one?
That was cool, actually. That was a good story for us, even as a company. Like, we were, what were we just wrapping on actually? I forget. I think we had just finished the Lemony Snicket's, I think. And either way, we were kind of in this lull of just kind of, I'll just pick up some stuff here and there, like just anonymous work. And then we got a call from ILM, and they were like, hey, we hear you guys doing good work. We want to put you forward to the client. And that was just, you know, so validating and mind-blowing, and they just put us forward. And at first it came to be like offsetting costs, like, oh, help us with these, kind of like the first bid package we got was all like really simple, kind of like objective work, nothing that would really, you know, require a fully developed team or big pipeline or anything. But by the end of it, we were doing like, you know, CG explosions, like effects explosions and CG tanks and crowd duplications of like 500 people, and building out the environments. And so that's some of our best work to date, actually. And so we managed to do that with like 11 people in 6 weeks, and I think that if you watch that movie, our work holds up to all the other vendors too. So
I did just recently watch that movie, and the effects were pretty damn good. I mean, it looked
totally
incredibly expensive.
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, are you finding that you're able to do more with less? Is that part of what's happening?
Yeah, I think because we can pivot. Yeah. That's like, I think what I've been learning about our company is that, like, you know, structure is amazing, and you need that for growth. But sometimes with structure can inhibit moving quickly. Yeah. And so hopefully we'll find that sweet spot where we can be a well-oiled machine of a company, but that can also have those core values of being able to pivot and look at scenarios and be able to try various things, as opposed to just like, you know, and once again, I'm not making a statement about other studios, but it's like, as opposed to, okay, that goes back to this department, and then we'll wait for it to go through this one, and then it's like, no, you know what, let's try a quick test, get those stills, or get this wedge out, see if that's responding well, then we go back to the drawing board. And so we kind of I think that we've done well with getting quick turnaround feedback to clients, and they appreciate that. So
is the goal for you and your teammates to kind of remain nimble like that and not get too big, or do you have like a a number of people in mind that you'd like to grow to, or are you good where you're at?
I don't know. I think that we're like maybe a little bit more growth away from having a few more key high-level positions in place, because we can't be top-heavy.
Yeah.
And I'd love to get a few more roles in the company that would allow us to like totally execute on a global level without any concern.
Right.
Whereas like right now, sometimes a show will come in and be like, oh, that might be too big for us right now.
Right. You'd have to contract a whole bunch of people.
Or we can only do a percentage of the work. And that's the biggest challenge, is saying we can do it, but we just can't do it.
Yeah.
We don't have the resources. So it's hard to answer that question. But
Stranger Things 3 was something you pursued. You were a fan of the show.
Yeah.
What's it like for someone to contribute to that and to watch it on your streaming service at home?
Yeah, I'm so proud, and I'm so proud of the team. Like, it was so cool to see what the team came up with, and that's also part of it. Like, in the first few years of the company, it was myself souping everything.
Yep.
And so we had one of our like other soups on this and helping and bringing that forward. So it was cool to see like, hey, I didn't actually this wasn't my vision, like I got to see things come to fruition at our shop and just be like actually like proud, as opposed to like, oh, we got there. So it's cool to, it's a shift. It was different. I was able to go like, oh man, the team did a great job.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you find yourself in sort of negotiation mode quite a bit? Are you the one that's out pursuing the work to bring back to the company?
Currently, yeah.
Yeah. And how do you like that role as opposed to working on the effects?
Yeah, I like problem solving. So if there's some aspect of that, creativity, if it's problem solving on a shot specifically, or how to get something physically filmed, or just trying to present an option where we're a good fit, and that could be sales. I'm enjoying all of that right now.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you're creating a company too, right? It's all part of the creation spectrum. Mm-hmm. Have you seen The Lion King?
Not the new one.
Not
the
new
original.
One?
Is the new one out yet?
Yeah, it's out.
Oh shoot!
You've been busy working.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. No, but I'm excited to see it.
Have you had a chance to analyze the effects in that at all, or?
No,
is that what you do when you go and see a movie? Do you just sort of pick it apart and?
Yeah, I get asked that a lot. I try really hard not to.
Yeah.
And then as they do the submissions for Best VFX, you watch it then, because then it's all the breakdowns. And to be honest, like if you watch that, it's really hard to, because all of it is digital. It's not like So it's amazing. But I haven't seen it, and to be honest, like, I've got 3 kids, and it's hard to go and see movies. That's where it's great for Netflix. Is amazing because you can watch it at home.
Totally. Well, soon it'll be the Disney Plus world for parents everywhere.
Totally. Yeah. No, it's true.
If you could talk to the kid that wanted to get into visual effects, Chris Van Dyck as a young man, what would you tell him about the path he was about to lead? What has surprised you the most?
All of it
about this industry.
All of it has, and this isn't great for me to say this because it's I own a company, but I'm not the leader type. I'm not the visionary. Not the leader type. I'm not the visionary type.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not the guy going, this is the vision for the company for the next 5 years.
Yeah.
I'm more of like, I'm like a good 3 to 6 month guy.
Yeah.
And like, or maybe even like a 90-day guy. Like, I'm going to problem solve this.
Yeah.
So that's where maybe throughout my whole career I've learned, or people will tell me, hey, you might end up doing this, or hey, that would be a great goal for you. And I'd go, oh, there's no way I'd ever get that. And then you do it, and then you get there, and you're like, wow, I can't believe I did that. So like literally I remember my 10-year goal, 2 years into my career, I did it year 3.
Wow.
So I was like, oh, and I'm not trying to like humble brag or anything, but it's like my vision has been off, is more what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So like, even someone saying, oh, you'll start a company, I would laugh. I was like, who am I to do that? Or what do I know? I just want to do shots. I just want to not live in my parents' basement. I just want to like get a job. Wow. So it's like, all those things I didn't really. If anyone told me at any of my points, like, oh, you will work at ILM in San Francisco, or you will work in New Zealand on the Hobbit trilogy, like, I would have been like, couldn't believe it. So, I think at each point I've kind of been like, surprised, and that's actually part of the fun, is like, I keep getting to go, oh wow, I can't believe we did that, as opposed to like, okay, we did that. Like, it's confidently. I was like, I'm just always blown away.
That's very cool.
And actually, I'll say one other thing, if I can keep rambling.
Yeah.
Is I like the idea of your goals being more around process, because then you're almost kind of accomplishing your goals all the time. as opposed to a milestone. Like it's not like our happiness or our worth is defined by, oh, we won an Emmy, or
you're not Jim Carrey writing yourself a $50 million check or something like that.
Exactly, and that's awesome when people can do that. That's not me, right?
Yeah.
And so for me, it's like I think that if we can, as a company or in our leadership, be like based around our core values and our process, then we're hitting it all the time, as opposed to we need to be 100 people, or we need to do X amount, or because then it's like I've learned looking back that anytime I did end up getting my goal, there's nothing there for you other than the next goal.
And that's kind of what I've been saying about my whole career too. It's like the reward is to get to work more. The reward is to get to do what you love to do more.
I always say that the reward for good work is just more work.
Yeah.
So there's no real accolade in service provision.
You have to have a favorite, though. Was there a favorite project or something that when you reflect on, you just think very warmly about? Might have been the people, might have been the movie or the TV show itself?
Yeah, I mean, I have a few, I could say. I don't know how we are on time, but...
We're okay.
Yeah? Okay. Well, recently, Stranger Things was great, but as a company, I think my favorite project it was probably Lemony Snicket's, because of just the dynamic of how it all came to fruition and then how the process went. So it was just like so complimentary and respect at every stop. And we were on the phone 2 to 3 times a week with Barry Sonnenfeld, genius.
Nice.
And at a level where he was just pouring compliments in and being excited to collaborate. So like to be a partner and a collaborator on a big show like that was really cool. Even though it was a small bit, that was like really fulfilling. And so we got to do that project.
Does it help that was all made in Vancouver too? Was that?
No, it was funny. Like it's good for them for like aligning incentives and everything. But no, everyone we worked with was in LA, and I think just like being able to, everyone got to flex their muscles. We did work that everyone's proud of, minimal to no overtime, and just respectful, delightful conversation every time. So that was a great 4 months. Like,
you sound like a good boss.
Yeah, maybe, hopefully. So as a company, I think that was like my favorite project. Personally, my favorite stuff is where there's room to do stylization. Yeah. So the game cinematics, that's my favorite stuff, because we get to kind of like look at it and go, oh, this would be way cooler if this happened on a shot-by-shot basis. So you almost get to like art direct and storytell on every frame, right? And you get to nerd out at the max level, right. And because that's a big part of your company too, is working on video games in addition to the movies and the TV show stuff. Totally. And you have a lot more freedom, I guess, and a lot more, I guess, creative control all the way through in the game stuff. And when it's in the cinematics, when it's like certain things we have to stick true to, where the game is going or to the surrounding level. Yeah. But when it's a breakout cinematic, then we get a lot more control, and to the point where on Anthem, which we're really proud of that sequence, we got to be a part of every stage, like the blocking and the animation, and we were just talking to these amazing partners about just what would make for the coolest shot and reframing, or what if we did this type of camera move, or so it's just really like seeing it, at a AAA game title or company be, how cool can we make this sequence look? That's awesome. And so that was really cool. Yeah. Have you got a project that you're working on now that we know is coming that you can sort of hype us for, prepare us for? Yeah. We're nothing on the game front. Yep. But we are working on The Terror season 2. Okay. And I haven't seen that show. I've heard it's terrifying. Yeah, it's got an amazing aesthetic, and it's really cool. Yeah. And it's going to be our largest project to date. Okay. With the amount we're building. So I'm really proud to show that work. And yeah, that's awesome. That's really cool. And that starts airing, I think it's August 12th. Okay. Mid-August, the first episode airs. So we're still chipping away at that. And that's very soon. Have you got something in 2020, or do you guys have to focus on this and then Yeah, there's stuff in 2020. But I think I shouldn't talk about it. Yeah. We will have to have you back. Yeah. Chris, it's great to see you, Thanks for having me. And congratulations on all the big changes and the right moves. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. I appreciate it. Keep up the good work.